You can't get to net zero in 2050 with your current plans till 2030. Our target, 60% below 2005 levels by 2030, is exactly double what Stephen Harper put in place in May 2015, which the Liberals initially said was too low, was weak, was unacceptable.
Yes, we need to do more, we need to do it better, and we need to do it faster, and that's exactly what our government is committing to doing.
We're putting out something very concrete, something very doable, and something that I think when Canadians take a look at it, we'll see is a very reasonable way to approach this problem.
It's week 3 of the federal election campaign, and this week the major parties are talking a lot about climate change. Each party says they have the best plan to dramatically cut emissions. So here at Power and Politics, we're zoning in on what each of those plans are. As you just heard, we've spoken with the Liberals and the NDP about their green promises. Today, the Conservatives are up. Ed Fast is the Conservative candidate for Abbotsford, British Columbia. He joins us from our Vancouver studios. Hi, Mr. Fast. Nice to see you. Thanks for making time for us today.
Hi, Vashi.
Mr. Fast, climate economist Mark Jacquard reviewed your party's plan, and his analysis is that greenhouse gas emissions would actually go up under the Conservative plan by an extra 100 megatons. Given that analysis, how can your party really say that your plan will be effective?
Well, with respect, Mark Jacquard was the one who praised to high heaven the Liberal plan, which is now failing badly. The Liberal plan promised to meet the Paris targets, which were, of course, the targets that our former Conservative government had set and which the Liberals claimed were inadequate. Now we find out that every single year we're falling further and further and further behind. It is a failed Liberal plan. It's all about taxing Canadians. It's a cash grab, and our plan is quite different. We're acknowledging that the Liberal approach is a failed approach, so we need a new way of looking at how we're going to address global greenhouse gas emissions. We have chosen to focus not on taxes, but on technology, incentivizing and accelerating the development of technology, which Canada is a world leader in. We're innovative,
right.
We're well educated, we can deliver solutions to the global community that are going to help reduce greenhouse gas emissions globally.
How can Canadians, though, who listen to that be assured that your measures will work? And I ask for 2 reasons. First, you have said that your plan offers the best chance of getting to the Paris targets, but you have not guaranteed that it will happen. And second, the measures contained within your plan are not itemized as to how much they will be reducing GHG. So how can Canadians actually hold you to account on this plan?
Well, it's interesting because you're holding us now to a different standard than you held Justin Trudeau back 4 years ago when he came up with his carbon tax climate plan, and he held up a 2-page document, which was his plan. Nobody asked him to model it. Nobody asked him to cost it.
With respect, Mr. Fast, I have asked the Liberals probably 1,000 questions about the deficiencies of their plan. My questions to you are about your plan. Please answer the question.
What I'm saying is that our plan is much better suited to actually meet our Paris targets. What we won't do is make promises that we cannot absolutely guarantee we will fill. Justin Trudeau has made a habit of making promises all over the place, not delivering on those promises. We believe that a focus on technology rather than on taxing Canadians is the best approach going forward.
How do you know that the technologies that you're proposing won't increase or sort of be counter to the affordability message that your party is putting out there? I ask, for example, the transit tax credit that your party announced early on in this campaign. It was under the previous government, of which you were a member, and independent studies done of that said that it only increased ridership between 0.25 and 1 percentage point. So it didn't have a material effect on an increase in ridership and therefore a decrease in GHG emissions. So is that really the most cost-efficient way to go about doing things?
The transit tax credit is just one of a number of tools that are available to governments to actually incent Canadians to act in a more environmentally responsible way. As you know, we've also announced a green homes tax credit, which is going to encourage Canadians to retrofit their homes to make them more environmentally sustainable. This is about a package of tools and strategies that are going to help us and give us the best chance to meet our Paris targets.
But if one of those strategies doesn't actually accomplish the thing that you say it's going to do, how effective will the overall plan be?
We're not relying on just one strategy. or on one tax credit to get this done. We have said it's very clear that the Liberal plan has failed because we're not even meeting our Paris targets. Justin Trudeau yesterday announced that he wants to go to net zero by 2050. And he's not going to be around in 2050 or 2040 or 2030, and we're hoping he won't be around in 2020. He has not delivered on the promises he has made. And we believe that his approach is a failed one. It has relied on taxing Canadians more and more and more going forward. And we know that from secret documents within the government, which we have copies of, that their plan for 2050 was to basically increase the carbon tax by 10 and 15 times.
That memo, those documents you refer to, though, that's an internal memo that was looking at scrutinizing the level of carbon tax in the absence of other measures. I take your point about there being questions about how high that price will go after 2022, and for that reason, we've asked the Liberals many times as well. But that document that you're saying is proof isn't exactly proof. It's an internal memo that talked about the possibility of it rising in the absence of other measures.
That internal memo clearly signals that the Justin Trudeau Liberals are prepared to dramatically increase taxes on Canadians, basically punishing Canadians, and it's punishment that they're using as a tool to get Canadians to act in a particular manner.
But how does that
We
document
believe there's
say
a better way. There is a better way. By focusing on technology, making sure that all of our large emitters, all of them, don't get exemptions like they do on the Liberal plan.
But those
that
costs
they
could be
are
downgraded to
required
Canadians,
to invest. Sorry?
Those costs that heavy emitters pay could be downgraded and downloaded off to Canadians. Like you're saying that your plan won't cost as much as the carbon tax to individual Canadians, but businesses, if they have to pay extra taxes, download those costs to Canadians, don't they?
We believe that the business community in Canada will welcome our approach because we are not taking the money out of their pockets, putting them into government coffers, and then having government make decisions on where it should be invested in the environment. Because governments are known to be unable to pick winners and losers. They're terrible at it. So we're saying to businesses across the country, you are going to keep that money, but we're going to require you to invest in your own environmental success and progress. You choose the tools, you choose the strategies and the technologies that you believe are going to get you to the standards that we are going to set. And they're very rigorous standards that we will set, based on international and global benchmarks.
I understand the point about the money not going to federal coffers. I'm saying, though, that if any business has to accrue an additional cost and they can't afford that cost on their own or they don't want to eat up into profits, they're going to download the cost to Canadians. And that's fundamental to the argument that your party is making, that your plan will cost Canadians less, right? You can't guarantee that. You don't know what kind of costs are going to be passed on to Canadians.
Listen, I'm not going to guarantee anything. Justin Trudeau has made all kinds of promises over the last 4 years, guaranteeing this, guaranteeing that he's going to meet the Paris targets. His plan has been a failure, so we need a new approach. We believe Canadians will welcome an approach that focuses on what even the United Nations has said has the best prospect for addressing our greenhouse gas emissions, and that is the rapid deployment and development of technology. And Canada is so perfectly placed to do that because we're innovative. We've already got examples of carbon capture and storage happening in Saskatchewan, Boundary Dam. We've got carbon engineering in Squamish that is sucking carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere and converting it to fuel, the cleanest fuel you can possibly get. So we have solutions that we can deliver to the global marketplace that are going to help countries like India and China reduce their emissions, because they've got much bigger problems with emissions than we do in Canada, and we have global solutions that we can deliver.
That's predicated, though, on the idea that they will adopt those technologies, right?
Well, you know what? I'm glad you asked that question, because we know that the Chinese have already been in Canada on more than one occasion looking at our carbon capture and storage technology. So there is great interest from a lot of countries around the world that have significant pollution problems, looking at Canadian technology and saying, hey, that might be the answer. And we can dramatically reduce emissions, clean up our air, also reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and contribute to the global solutions to climate change.
Okay, I'll have to leave it there. I'm out of time. Thank you, Mr. Fast. Really appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.